Hi there folks, and welcome to another episode of Talking Faith. It's great to be here with you. As you'll notice, maybe a slightly more stripped back episode today. Johnny's not feeling too great, so maybe keep him in your prayers. I'm sure he'll be back and raring to go next week, and we'll be off hopefully on some outdoor adventures to some interesting scenic parts to film and such like, but nonetheless, it's still got some valuable reflections hopefully to bring to you. Today we're continuing looking at the armour of God from Ephesians chapter 6. We're on to the second piece of the armour today. So as we kind of jump into this idea of the armour of God, one of the things that I really like that we get from its picture is just before it goes into kind of listing the equipments like the belt of truth and so on and so forth, there's this framing that Paul gives as he's speaking to the Ephesians, which is like these are tools to help us stand firm against opposition, to stand firm. That these are different kind of pieces of equipment, things that we can put on, that we can rely on, that we can trust in as Christians, that we can fall back on when times are hard, that help us to stand firm, regardless of what life might throw at us, about what might be going on around us, that these are trustworthy, reliable elements of faith described as tools and equipment, as if we were a soldier prepared for battle, but different things that we can don and make use of. And I think that's really valuable for us as we kind of ready ourselves for whatever life might throw at us, the good, the bad, to help us stand firm in faith. Well, these are some of the core elements that we can come back to time and again and reflect on to be ready for what comes. And the particular piece of equipment that I'm going to be thinking about just a little bit today is that of the breastplate of righteousness. Now, obviously, like a breastplate is a integral part of any kit. It's probably one of the few things that still transfers over to the armies of today. Okay, it's maybe not made of kind of metal plate or whatever it would be kind of made out of back in 2000 odd years ago, but instead it's a Kevlar vest that often soldiers would wear into battle. But it's a really important part of the kit because it protects all those core organs that we've got going on, our heart, our lungs, and so on and so forth. It's making sure that they are protected, the most vulnerable parts of us are protected. And for us as Christians, our maybe more vulnerable self is most protected by the righteousness of God. That is key for us as Christians, that we can rely on His righteousness. Now, righteousness is one of those big kind of fancy words that sometimes is a bit hard to get our heads around, but at its heart, it's simply the idea of being made right with God. There might be times in our life when we mess up, there's mistakes that we've made, there's sin that we've let get into our lives, but because of God, because of His actions, because of His choices, we are made right with Him. We are free from the shackles of sin and able to walk forward into a new life. It wasn't that long ago that we were celebrating Easter. And Easter is the remembering of the wonder of what Jesus did on the cross, His life, His death, His resurrection, which brings us freedom, which was all about making us right with God. Sometimes I think we turn righteousness into like just goody two-shoesness, like doing things the right way, thinking that we are above people or something like that. That sort of concept slips in, but actually when we see it through the eyes of God, it's not that at all. It's not about what we do or struggle or strive, but rather about trusting in Him, putting our faith in what Jesus has done for us and allowing us to be made right with Him, by what He has done for us. And that truth, that idea, that piece of equipment is key to readying ourselves, to us being able to stand firm regardless of what comes in life, to protecting the most vulnerable parts of ourselves, is the truth that we are made righteous through Christ Jesus. So I hope you found that simple thought valuable today. And I do encourage you to take time to reflect over what it means to you to be made right with God, to hold on to that truth, to don that piece of armour. And we'll be back again next week with more reflections. Cheers.